Hello there, I'm Josie. I'm a food and eating psychology coach and founder of The Mindful Cook. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about mindful eating. These days it can be quite difficult to just simply enjoy the act of preparing and eating food. Mostly because there's so many stories going on inside our minds around it. For example, you might get caught up in judging yourself about your food choices. Or maybe sometimes we become preoccupied, with where the foods come from and what's in it. Or sometimes we're just simply so consumed with all the other stuff that's going on in our busy lives that actually we're probably not paying that much attention to our food at all. A scene that I always get people to try and bring to mind when I'm talking about this is to imagine that you're coming home from a really, really busy day at work. Think about how you normally approach your cooking. So perhaps you're thinking you might find yourself rushing through it so that you can get to the next thing that you want to do that evening. Or maybe sometimes you skip your dinner entirely because you just don't feel like you've got the time. And this is one that I've been known to do in the past as well, chopping things ferociously just to get rid of those frustrations that you've carried through the day. Today, there are just so many disruptions in our relationship with food and eating. Preoccupations with healthy eating, concerns about our body weight, and just generally the time constraints of the busy lifestyles that we lead are just a few. And it's true to say all of us struggle in some way or another. Cooking really is an act of self-care. It reminds us that we're worthy of a home-cooked meal, and it offers us such a great opportunity to really nourish ourselves with nutrients. So today I'm going to share with you a little fun 5-minute exercise that you can run through when you're next preparing your food. It might just help you to slow down a little bit, to connect with the food and with your body, and to just perhaps be in the moment a little bit more than you might normally do when you're rushing through things having come back home after a busy day. In really simple terms, mindfulness is just about paying attention. If you consider how many things that we have going on in our minds at any one time, the amount of distractions, the amount of interruptions, and all those things that exist around us, training yourself to focus on just one thing, even if it's only for 5 minutes at a time, can really help you to reduce your stress and to feel calmer. When you cook for yourself and you get to choose your ingredients and the recipe that you want, it's bound to be far more nourishing and satisfying than something that you just simply buy off the shelf ready prepared. And it also presents such a great opportunity to tune out of the noise of the day and to focus in on the moment. All the food is doing really is just offering you a point of focus, something that you can put your attention on other than, all the internal dialogue that's going on in your mind. In many meditation practices, they suggest using the breath in this way. It's an anchor. It's an anchoring point simply that you can use to focus your mind. And when you're cooking, you can use food in that way or a particular step of the recipe. It's simply something that you can lock onto and focus in on. All you need really is just the power of observation. And the steps that I'm going to walk you through next will just help you to provide little prompts that will just help you to tune in and refocus again as you're preparing. Okay, we're going to do a nice bit of fun, mindful food preparation. So when you first take your fruit or your vegetables, or maybe you've got some fresh herbs or spices, initially, just give some consideration to where it's come from. Thinking about this gorgeous cabbage that's come out of the ground, Think about it also in terms of how it's going to nourish your cells. And try to disassociate with any of those negative feelings that we can very often associate with food, like guilt or fear sometimes. And then just simply begin by observing it. Take your attention to the colours of the ingredients. So this has got a beautiful purple hue going through it and a deep green. What's the texture of the skin? You know, this is really rubbery in the leaves, but how does it feel to touch and observe and behold? And then maybe turn your attention to whether or not you can smell it at this stage. Perhaps you won't smell anything until you actually cut into it, but does it have an aroma? Does it have a scent? And then eventually when you come to cutting into it, just, you know, hear it, listen to it, observe the flesh. What does it look like? Perhaps kind of raise it up and give it a sniff and see how it smells. This just smells like beautiful, fresh, you know, leafy cabbage. So really, just as you're preparing your food, just have a bit of fun placing deliberate attention on the sights, the smells, the textures in both the preparation and in the cooking, and how it changes through those processes. While you move through your recipe, also try and increase your awareness about what's going on in your mind. For example, are you distracted? Do you feel yourself getting distracted? Try not to dwell on that too much, but just observe internally what's going on. And if you do get distracted, just try and bring your attention gently back to your food preparation. It's a really fun, light-hearted thing to do, but it's a really nice way to tune out of the day. So think about texture, scents, sounds. Use these prompts, you know, to guide your attention as you move through the cooking process, and just try and slow down a little bit and enjoy it. Give it a go. You might just find that you feel a little bit more relaxed when you're done. You never know.